Zone split and Westlife peaked, another Irish boy band called D-Side wanted a slice of that pot pie. After a string of top 10 singles in 2003, what happened next? Well, joining us for a chat today is former D-Side member Derek Ryan. Hello.
How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Good, no problem. Thank you for flying all the way from Ireland to be here today.
The things I do.
The things you do for the Vol. Well, we're very, very happy that you're here. Now, you were just a teenager when you joined D-Side. Did you think all of your dreams had come true when you got the nod to be in the band?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, really, because it was everyone's, most young guys' dream, I suppose, at the time in Ireland, because of the success of Boyzone and Westlife to get into a boy band. So it was one step to get in the band, and then when we got signed to Warner, it was like moving to London, and it was a big step. And you know, I was 17, 18 coming to London, so yeah, I was pretty young, but
wide world.
It was amazing, really amazing.
Cool. How did the offer to join the band come about?
Well, we were put together. We knew kind of each other, and then I knew one or two of the guys, and they knew one or two of the guys, and it kind of slowly but surely came together. But we were rehearsing in Dublin for about a year, you know, and I finished school, and I was very sensible that way. And I remember finishing my last exam and literally hopping on the plane and moving over. So it was rock and roll, you know, straight into the celeb life and all the rest. But it was brilliant.
And where did the name D-Side come from?
If I had a pound for every time I was met. It's a long time since I was asked that. I think it came from the whole Dublin thing, you know. I'm not from Dublin, but there was 3 Dublin guys in the band, and, you know, they probably tried to take over and call it D-Side, you know.
Okay.
But, I think that was where it came from.
Cool. And how did you guys get along in the early stages of the band? Was it quite easy, or...?
It was, yeah. Like, I mean, we were, I suppose, well, all alone in London, you know, the 5 of us. So we were like brothers, really. We spent every day together, and then touring as well. I suppose, you know, I look at like the likes of One Direction. Obviously, that was a bigger scale, but, like, you know, it's great to see them, because you can look back and remember all the times you're on different TV shows and all the different experiences. But we grew up together, really, you know. We were all pretty young, you know, so... and even now, you know, if I meet the guys, we just fall back into that, you know, years on, we fall back into that little zone where we just laugh and, you know, remember stories, and it's great. It's a great feeling.
Oh, that's good that it's still the same now, because sometimes things change. Now, the manager who put you guys together also looked after New Kids on the Block, Bewitched, and PJ and Duncan.
Yes.
3 big names. Did you hope to have similar success to those?
Yeah, well, everything was in place. You know, we had good management, record company. You know, we had everything there. But it's just, I suppose, we had success. Like, you know, we had 3 top 10s and #1 in Japan and different things, and it was a great experience. But I suppose, you know, inevitably the album didn't do as well as we thought it would probably. And but yeah, everything was in place, and we did think, you know, there was a possibility that we could be. You know, we could be worldwide stars or the next big boy band or whatever coming from Ireland. But, you know, it wasn't really to be, I suppose. Well,
let's not dwell on that right now, because things started off well for D-Side.
Yes.
Speechless was your debut single. It went top 10 here in the UK.
You've got something over me. Right now, it's all a mystery. This thing's taking over, you see. No matter what I do, I'm speechless over you.
At that time, did you feel like you'd made it?
It was a great. Yeah, I remember we were in Germany as well, and we got some big news of it being, you know, on all the video channels, and you know, so it was great, and it was just good news, and it was amazing, really. And we were in Sweden touring, you know, in France. Every week we're in a different country promoting as well. So I'm recording in America as well. So it was a roller coaster, you know. It was absolutely brilliant.
And a further 2 top 10 hit singles in the UK came, Invisible and Real World. What was the feeling like inside D-Side camp at this point? Because it was all going really well for you guys.
Yeah, and Invisible, I mean, that was my favourite song that we recorded. You know, it was just an instant hit, you know, the minute we heard it, and we flew out to Miami. I remember on Christmas Day, we went to the airport at home.
Working on Christmas Day?
Yeah, and we flew to Miami Christmas Day, to work with Desmond Childs, and he was, you know, obviously a world-renowned producer. You know, he produced wrote a lot of Bon Jovi hits, Living on a Prayer, etc., etc. So, you know, we were really excited and nervous. But the song, the minute I heard it, I knew it was going to be a hit. You know, it was just a brilliant song.
Now, does that bring back a lot of memories, seeing you guys in that video?
It does, yeah. I remember spending the whole day beside the phone box. So,
Yes, yes.
so,
Wait,
yeah.
are you ready? I'm only singing along, so I'm getting memories from the phone box.
Actually, at the gigs, that was what they always sang as well. We always had the crowd sing that bit, you know.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favourite bit of the song.
Wait, I already am.
Yeah, I got to know the phone box pretty well.
Now, Invisible went on to be a huge single in the USA for American Idol star Clay Aiken. How did you feel when he recorded that track? That's quite an honour.
Yeah, it was. I suppose it was a brilliant song, you know, and I think, I don't know what way the deal was, but I suppose we got to release it in the UK. And, I think D-Side and Clay might have released it in Japan, and luckily we had the hit with it, you know. So it depends on where it was and the situation and the time and stuff. But look, it's a great song. It's a great song, you know.
Exactly. It still is a great song, I'd
Yeah.
say. I'm still singing along. Now, before we continue, I'm actually a little bit confused because weren't you actually called Ryan in D-Side way back when?
I was, and I think we tossed a coin, I think, because there was 2 Dereks. So I had to
Right.
change. I had to change
Livid,
my
were you
name.
angry about that?
I was a little bit, I have to say. But I think Ryan, you know, a lot of people actually who got to know me when I lived in London would say I'm more of a Ryan than a Derek, you know.
Okay.
So some people would still call me Ryan, which is fine. You can
Fine.
I've been called worse, you know.
But you're Derek now, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's fine, it's all good. So we've talked about the D-Side hit singles. Things seem to be going well, but your debut album, as you mentioned earlier, Stronger Together, crashed in at number 62. And that it wasn't great for you guys. So how did you guys feel about that chart position?
Yeah, sorry, it was a bit morbid at the start, wasn't it? With the whole end. But yeah, no, it was, I suppose, after, you know, the success of the singles, you know, it was a disappointment. And then I suppose we looked further afield, you know, and luckily, you know, Japan came in and, you know, it was brilliant as well. Like, I mean, I remember we arrived in Tokyo and I was the first to come out, like, to the terminal, you know, and the screams, and it was like hundreds of girls. And I actually thought, like, I said, "You know, David Beckham must be on the flight or something," you know, honestly, I couldn't believe it. And then when I realised they were there for D-Side, it was just, yeah, it was unbelievable.
The fans out there are wild. Even to this day, pop stars go over and they say, like, it's massive in Japan. You're like, really?
Yeah, I'm actually hoping
actually
to bring my solo stuff out there as well.
really?
So yeah, so that'd be cool.
Oh, that would be good. Now, there were loads of boy bands attempting to be the next big thing at the same time as D-Side. The likes of Triple Eight spring to mind. They were kind of like your rivals back then. Was the problem that the boy band market became saturated, would you say?
I don't know, looking back, I suppose, but I mean, hindsight is great, really. But I think the likes of Busted came along, and McFly and Blazing Squad, and just the whole dynamic of the charts, I think, changed a little bit. And suddenly there was guitars, and there was like,
You were like, hang on a minute.
I mean, I can play the guitar, you know. So I was thinking, oh God, maybe we should start taking out the guitar. But you know, it was too late by then. Like, they just broke it, and everyone was talking about,
Yeah.
you know, Busted and McFly, as I mentioned, and just the whole scene changed. And then I think it was kind of time to think about other things, you know. And I always enjoyed songwriting. I was lucky to write with some great writers when I was in the band, you know. I made some great connections, and so the songwriting thing then became important for me as well. So that's where I kind of developed, I suppose, into a solo thing,
Yeah.
really.
So it kind of helped you out.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah.
But D-Side had the boy band looks, you had the songs, so what do you think went wrong? Was it the fact that maybe you didn't play any instruments, or because everything seemed to be right?
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, as boy bands go, like, we were pretty good singers as well, you know.
No, you were actually.
No, and that's not
I
me
did
being...
watch live footage on YouTube recently, and I was like, hang on a minute, they can actually sing.
Yeah, and we, you know, we enjoyed singing and all the harmonies, but look, you could analyse it.
Anyone's guess.
You know, you can analyse it for years. But looking back, we just, you know, everything I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason. So I don't worry about it too much. At the time, you know, when we decided to call it a day after, we ended up like doing 3 albums and the greatest hits in Japan. You know, so it didn't just, you know, stop after
Completely
62
stop.
in the charts. You know, and Ireland as well was very, very good to us. You know, Real World. Well, multi platinum. It was in the top 10 for weeks and weeks and weeks. Yeah. So at home, like if anyone says, oh, you know, D-Side, everyone goes Real World. That's the song they would associate with us, you know. So that's, yeah. So, you know, it wasn't all doom and gloom.
Well, let's talk about your success in Japan. Things weren't going too well here in the UK, but in Japan, in the mid-noughties, you guys were, you know, pretty hot stuff. So what was it like going over there and singing to that kind of crowd and being big over there, but not in the UK? Was that just bizarre?
It was surreal because I remember we did gigs, you know, and one night we were headlining this big event and there was loads of acts on. And I remember James Morrison was massive here, you know, and he was actually supporting us in Japan.
No.
Yeah, and that was surreal because I remember coming back then to kind of pretty much nothing and watching him on the Brits and different things, you know.
Yeah.
And he was on, he was.
That's just weird, isn't it?
It was really weird.
It's just really weird.
So I always think now, like, you know, it's great with my own thing, like, you know, I suppose celebrity and success, it's all relative, you know, so you never get carried away with it. But that's a great attitude to have, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It keeps you grounded.
So when you guys decided to call it a day and split up, what kind of happened within the group? Was it a mutual thing or?
It was a mutual thing, but I think there was still offers coming in from different things and reunions and all that type of thing. But, you know, I kind of, once I started on my own thing, I tried to focus on that because I don't like living in the past either, if you know what I mean. So, but it just kind of, we just all, one by one, we moved home. I stayed around for a couple of years, but one by one, we went our separate ways, and then that was it. But there was no hard feelings. It was just, I think it just took its course.
And are you in touch with any of the other guys now?
Yeah, I would be, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
I would be. And it's nice, as I said before, if we meet up for a drink or, you know, a chat, we just tell stories of
what happened in the boy band days.
Stories
I bet there
places,
were.
Yeah. So,
the partying, the girls, the late nights.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we were quite the Rolling Stones or anything, but it was good.
Every band has their moment, though, I think.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you wouldn't really go back in time, but if the cards were on the table about maybe doing a reunion gig or an offer was there, would you take it up?
If it was the right offer and there was a good reason for it, you know, I don't know what the reason would be, but like I wouldn't just get together for one night or anything like that because you know, if you're going to come back and do something, you want to do it properly. Like, look at, not comparing really, but look at Take That, like they came back and they really did it properly.
Yeah,
you know?
They definitely did.
Whereas if you come back and make a half-hearted attempt at it just to kind of, you know, I don't know, get a bit of attention or something, I wouldn't be.
Fizzles out quickly.
I wouldn't be into that, no.
You want to be remembered for what you had back then, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Now you're still involved within the music industry. You're a successful Irish country singer.
Yes.
So tell us about your solo material.
Yeah, I mean, I was always into country music, and I don't know, you know, he wouldn't have been as big in the UK, but Garth Brooks was a massive artist in Ireland, and I was lucky enough to go and see him when I was 14 in Croke Park in the stadium.
Wow.
And just fell in love with country music. And you know, a lot of the pop hits, you know, are originally country songs, you know. I'm sure you know, like, but If Tomorrow Never Comes, Rowan Keaton, and that was a Garth Brooks song. And so, you know, country music was always big. I suppose the success of like Taylor Swift now and you know, Mumford & Sons, even with the folk.
They've got that folk sort of country-esque vibe.
Yeah, and you're hearing like Shane Filan, Gary Barra, they're all touching on country a little bit.
Even Kesha and Pitbull go in there with the country sound.
Yeah, and Avicii as well.
And Avicii,
you know, so it's definitely back, and in Ireland it's enjoying this kind of, I suppose, this kind of revolution, you know, and all young people are out loving it, and we're doing concert tours and have these country dances as well, and it's brilliant.
What are the country dances?
Well, it's a great phenomenon in Ireland is like jiving.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
Don't ask me to do it because I just want to sing. But it's a phenomenon at the moment, and young people are all learning how to do it, and yeah, it's great.
Oh, cool! I'm gonna have to look that up and try and learn it.
Google it.
Yeah, I'll Google it. I will do. Now, it's a very different sound to D-side. So, why did you decide to go down that country route?
As I say, I always listened to country music.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was a singer as well, country singer, and so it just comes natural, and the songwriting seemed to come natural. And after a few years after D-side, I went back to university. And
did you?
I did.
To study?
Just to get my mind, I think, kind of focused on something, and I studied accountancy and taxation, which sounds very boring, I know, but I did, and I kind of, you know, I liked it, and then went back to my hometown of Carlow and continued on studying there, and then it just got so busy with the country scene that I had to leave it. So I think I must be the only person who spent 4 years in college and I don't have anything to show for it.
No, but do you still do your own accounts?
Well, it does help. When I go to my accountant, or we've a company set up, whatever, and I know exactly what he's talking about, which is...
Well, there we go. They can't mess
good.
you about.
Yeah,
You've had that
exactly.
4-year degree under your hand, you know what I mean? Have you got any plans to release music here in the UK?
We do, indeed. Actually, we've a single 100 numbers, which is one of my own, and we're releasing that. And my latest album, Country Soul, which I released in Ireland back in October, and it went into the top 10 of the charts there.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to release that here as well. So it's all go. And Australia as well. We're heading to Australia, which country music is very, very big right there. And hopefully is Japan as well. So
would you go to Nashville? Would you try to do America?
I will. I've written with guys out there, and I've been there as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed. It's all trying to get time to go everywhere and keep
do
doing
it.
gigs.
Yeah. I think it's the right time to do it now while it's still bubbling and everyone's obviously jumping on the country thing.
Yeah.
You've been doing it from way back, but it's
exactly
relevant right now, so it's a good time to do it. So how different do you think the music industry is nowadays compared to when D-Side were around?
Well, I think it's a lot different with the likes of X Factor and Pop Idol. I remember the very first Pop Idol was just before we came out with Gareth Gates and Will Young, and a lot of people you talk to now mightn't even remember it, and be going like, Pop Idol, Well, I suppose we have American Idol, but it's all X Factor now,
This is the thing. The Voice.
The Voice, yeah.
Because you've got your own version of The Voice in Ireland compared to our
We have Jamelia as
she's on the panel.
And Cian Egan as well. So.
Really? Is Cian on there?
Yeah, and Dolores from the Cranberries. Dolores O'Riordan. So...
Is it more successful in Ireland than it is in the UK? Or is it?
To be honest, it hasn't really...
Picked up?
Well, it hasn't really created a star, successful at the moment, but... I don't know whether that's because of the aftermath or whatever, but, I think reality TV, especially for music, I think they are difficult, and if you're serious about being a singer-songwriter, I think sometimes I just look at them and, there was... there was a girl on the X Factor this year, Abby, and she was just like, she played the piano and she was a singer-songwriter, and I just felt so sorry for her because, week in, week out, you just can't, I suppose, sit down and sing ballads. And
she had to change up and it wasn't really her sort of thing.
Yeah, I think they had her singing ABBA and different things, or pop or disco, and I was like, oh. So it can work in your favour though. They're, obviously, if you make the most of it, they're brilliant to be in. But I think sometimes, depending on what type of artist you want to be, I think you could be better off avoiding them. But that's just
try and do another route. Do you reckon any of the D-Side guys would have auditioned for like a talent show if they weren't in a band?
Yeah,
Who do you think would have gone for it?
I'm not sure. Like it's hard to know if the band hadn't happened. Maybe I would have. Maybe you just don't know.
You just don't know. I guess it's kind of like an easy route, would you say?
Yeah.
If you want to fast track yourself a little bit forward in.
That's it. Yeah, and you get like thousands of followers on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Twitter weren't around when D-Side were around.
That's it. No, there was like chat rooms. There was you had to log on and chat to
old school
people.
Chat rooms.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you reckon if things would have been different if Twitter was around and Facebook and all the social media apps that you can get right now?
Well, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
You can connect with people instantly. So just bang, and there you go. You connect with 3 million people all over the world. Whereas we didn't have that luxury. But I suppose no one did. So who knows?
Who knows? Well, Derek, thank you so much for popping in today and talking to us.
No problem. Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of this year.
Maybe I won't